Welcome to ConCast, where the fandoms unite, with the Boba Fett swagger and the Jedi's in sight. It's a comic book cocktail, shaken and stirred. We're the coolest cats in the whole nerd herd. Grab your badge and strike.
I'm sorry,
Hello.
that has yet to get old. I still like it.
I know it probably will, but you'll see I am yet again in my living room tonight. I'm going to try this light here so I see if I can look as pasty as I did last week. Nope, I guess I can't. So, oh well, that'll wait.
Okay.
Cookie's not joining us tonight. He is spending some time with his wife, and so I figured I would come out in our living room and do this, live with you. Oh, look at how you deleted Cookie right off there. All these years I could have got rid of him that easy.
Yeah, it is. It is truly that easy. I edit reality.
So how's Ash doing today?
Ash is doing okay. Ash is having a decent day, and the wife is actually having a good day. But you know what they say is the wife's having a good day, you're having a good day.
Happy wife, happy life.
We are. Well, her job. Wow, that's got some
that was
brightness.
too much light, wasn't it? Now I'm in profile.
The problem now is, can you alter the color of that light?
I probably can. I've never really messed with
if
this
you can
light
take
a lot.
it down to about 3,000. Oh, perfect. That's it. No, go back. You wanted about 3,000.
I can't go back. I got to cycle through.
There.
That one?
No, the orange one.
No, keep going. There.
That one?
That one looks better. Looks better. Yeah, you wanted about 3,000 Kelvin. That gives you the good I'm not a pasty bitch look.
Yeah, I can look directly at the light and get exactly about 298 Kelvin out of it right now. So I'm 3,000 Kelvin.
I know exactly what he's talking about.
I know what he's talking about, but I can't.
He's talking about the color temperature.
I can't adjust it from this light. It's like on, off, up, down. That's what I got. So,
well, you have more options than I do. I've got like three. I've got three options: 3,000, 4,500, and 6,000. So here's 3,000, here's 4,500, and here's 6,000. I am now the pasty one.
See, when I'm in my office, I got all the Ghostbuster lights. I got like 8 remotes for everything if I want. I never really do it. But I got Gabe here today too. He came in. There is a story he has been telling me about, and I've been wanting to cover on here all week. And it's a video game story. So I'm going to let Gabe talk about it if that's all right. Only about 5 minutes. Of course.
Yeah, it's very little, I guess.
Well, here, just real quick while I got you.
Get in frame. Oh, there you are. Okay.
Yeah, this is my boy Gabe that we talk about all the time. So many, right now we don't have a lot of people online because we just started off. But, and we've been, like last week, I was going to have him come on and do it, but we were out playing Pokémon Go. So I literally had to run in and make it in here just in time. See, it's studio chat I'm after, right?
Yeah, it's a live stream chat.
Live stream chat. I was on the wrong chat. Sorry.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
There's nobody's typed anything in yet. But anyways, you were going to say.
We're super casual. So I was even talking with Frankie about this the other day because he hadn't been keeping up on it because we're talking about the new release of Borderlands 4. And I had said this game that Gabe had been talking about. I'll just let you explain because I'm going to totally slaughter it.
Basically, there's a game that's been in development for, I think it was 7 years. It's made by an indie studio of, I think, 3 people. But it's a Hollow Knight Silksong. Hollow Knight 1 came out 7 years ago and was a decently popular indie game. It wasn't anything huge, but Silksong became the most wishlisted game on Steam for a while when they first announced it.
Didn't it break Steam?
Yeah, it broke Steam, PlayStation Network, Xbox, and Nintendo. In fact, for the first, I think, like 5 hours of it being available, PlayStation just wasn't selling it because it was breaking their servers.
Well, didn't they? Was it what they were talking about? Because I thought they shut one of them down completely. Was that what you're talking about?
Yep, they just decided not to sell it for the first like 5 to 8 hours.
There you go. That's the one. Yeah, it's well, you've been playing the first one.
Yeah, I've been going through and playing the first one right now. I'd say I'm probably about halfway through.
So, what's the genre of game?
They call it a Metroidvania. It's kind of like the old Metroids or Castlevanias. That's why they call it Metroidvania, as it's a mash together of those two words.
Okay.
kind of
like
like
a side scroll.
yeah, side scroller. You explore a big area, unlock new abilities that allow you to traverse to areas you weren't able to before. So, like for example, double jumps, wall jumps, dashes, things like that. It just allows you to get around the world better so that you can access more areas. And then it's known for its very difficult boss fights as well.
Now, the thing that that tweaks me on this is you said that it was just a small development group. You said like 3 guys or something.
Yeah.
Pretty confident.
Yeah, so that is most excellent. I mean, because that means that the proceeds from this goes to a much smaller pot. I mean, much less hands grabbing into the pot. So those guys are doing good right now.
Well, you're
Oh, yeah.
affecting the big boys too, because their game releases, because that's kind of what brought up with Borderlands 4. It's a huge game release, of course, and they didn't move their dates, but there are other game releases that went, holy crap, we got to move everything because we can't compete with this small game.
Well, with it being
But,
a game,
and go ahead.
oh, go ahead.
No, please.
With it being a game that was kind of in development hell, where people didn't think it was actually going to come out. It was announced, but there was no actual release date or anything like that. It just kind of kept being like, it's coming later, don't worry.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
when they did finally announce the release date, I think they announced it like 1 month before it was coming out. So then all those game companies that also had games coming out in September were just like, all right, maybe we'll push it back a month or two.
it just blows my mind that a small, basically garage, development company can affect the multi-billion-dollar industry like that, and that just inspires others who are out there. I mean, the simple fact, it didn't take a team of hundreds to do. I mean, it obviously took years to do, but now with the new tools that have been coming out and the new abilities that people have to, like, one thing I was going to talk about tonight was Bolt.new, which is an AI coding thing that they have a free plan on it. You might want to check it out, Gabe. But you can just build whatever app you want, and people, I mean, there's companies now just using this Bolt.new in order to basically vibe code their apps and new programs and websites and all the stuff like that. It's got themselves a huge seed on their when they're drumming up funding because it works so well. But something like this, you could go ahead and utilize in order to bring your own creation to life, and once again disrupt that huge billion-dollar industry that dwarfs the movie industry.
Well, it drives me nuts sometimes because some of the stuff I get excited about are these independent releases. Comic books, for example, Peter Laird's fixing to do offshoot with some turtle stuff. That's all going to be, I mean, it's going to be big enough. Everybody's going to see it. But, oh, hey, Meg.
Hey, Meg.
Those kind of things are what excites me. There's a video game you've been talking about. I'm going to totally screw this up. The horror game I played with you guys, that like unreleased horror game.
Oh, you're talking about PT.
PT. Okay, so they had me play this unreleased horror game, and it was just this one where you're going down endless hallways and weird shit happens, and it's just creepy enough to, like, there's not a ton of action, but it's creepy enough, freak me out. So when they said this guy's coming out with a new game.
Yeah, so it's PT. It was made by Hideo Kojima, and it was basically a concept for one of the new Silent Hills. And honestly, probably the best horror game I've ever played, even though it's just essentially a free demo. But they took it down pretty much immediately. So it's also a game that not many people have played. There are people who have tried to remake it, but yeah, if you actually have that on, like, downloaded on your PS4 or something, it does make your PS4 more valuable, kind of like how Flappy Bird used to be on iPhones.
Yeah. Whereas I'm learning old Pokemon Go accounts apparently are worth a lot of money too. So
really,
but because the 2016 Pokemon allow you a guaranteed lucky trade.
I just started playing again recently, and everybody's like, well, should have been able to log into your old account because Pokemon Go came out the weekend of Anime Fest. So, and we were doing a lot of cons at the time, so we started playing at con. And then your at con was like-minded people for months on end. So we were just trading and playing and shit all the time. And I did that for about 6 months and then stopped and didn't touch it again. So that old account's probably got Pokemon, 10-year-old Pokemon that are people pay money for, apparently. So I just haven't been able to log back into that old account. I started a new one. But the horror game, reason I brought up, because then he's coming out with a new one, or maybe coming out with
No,
a new
he
one.
is coming out with a new one. It's been announced. It's called OD, and he's partnering with Jordan Peele.
Yes.
Is that what it is?
Yep, Jordan Peele, who I think's a great horror writer, you know. So I get excited for that kind of underground stuff like that, because they usually are making stuff I genuinely want. Trevet, I'm not going to say it right. Trevetsky, the animator, he made Samurai Jack,
Oh, nice.
Primal, all that stuff. I mean, he's very good and well known for what he does. And Primal is one of my favorite animated series. He just recently came out with a movie, and so I was super excited about that. Called oh god, what was it called?
I don't know. I haven't heard of this.
It's called Snipped or something like that. Can't remember. And it is not his regular style. I was so excited about it, and as soon as it came out, I intentionally didn't read reviews, but it came across my feed, and everybody's bashing on it like crazy, just because he came out with a unique show about a dog losing his balls, and so he has one big night out before he gets snipped, right? And so it's way out of his wheelhouse, and it's got this spunko animation style, and I'm like, that sounds great. It sounds like a great storyteller and animator is making a really cool story I want to see, and the public fucking ran it over at the train because, well, that's not what you normally make. Stay in your wheelhouse. Nothing.
Yeah,
know what I
fuck
mean?
them.
Well, that's the problem sometimes, some of the independent creator stuff.
I can already see the sequel. The sequel is, like months later when he meets all of his kids.
They did that at the end of the movie. Yeah,
they did?
They nailed it.
Screw it.
But it was good fun. It was stupid fun, and you almost got to watch it because I'm watching it, and there is a not transgender character, but a gender fluid character that has all parts, and it's a dog named Frankie. And just as that dog comes on and starts, I was like, oh, I'm going to give Frankie so much shit for this, and he calls me on the phone. I'm like, we're watching you on TV right now, and yeah, the character is nothing like Frankie, but it is now his new what I want to say, avatar.
Spirit animal?
Yeah, spirit animal. Gender fluid Doberman Pinscher named Frankie. So, yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to get off subject.
I wanted to talk to you too, Gabe. Did you see what the CEO for I forget the name of the company that does Borderlands, what he said about the price hike on Borderlands?
Is it 2K? I think it's 2K Interactive. But
What's
it's
that?
Was it 2K Interactive? Is that the publishing company?
I think it was 2K. But yeah, he came out and said, because they hiked the price on it, and everybody's like, "Whoa, you hiked the price!" And he basically said, suck it up. It's not for poor people. If you can't afford it, you're poor. Go away. And
that's terrible.
yeah, I mean that
Well,
right
they
there.
don't have money anyway. Fuck them, right?
Yeah, and I'm not gonna pre-order it. I'm gonna, because all the ones before, since Borderlands 2, all the ones before, I've pre-ordered and played, no matter how shitty they were. So now with that, I was like, screw it. I'm gonna wait for the reviews to see if you even get my money. If you're that way, you're not gonna get my pre-order money.
That's the way I am all the time. I always wait, see what it's like, or then the boys will go out and buy whatever game, and then I get hooked usually. But
I don't know. I've donated to a couple Kickstarters in my time, so rolled the dice to see what comes out.
I'll do a Kickstarter if it's somebody I know their product and the stuff they put out. But I've had rough luck with some Kickstarters, so
okay.
Hong Son, he says, howdy, howdy. Is Primal the caveman with the dino that don't talk? Yes, it is. And they are fixing to do a third season at some point. I already know scripts written and they've started animation, but it's all cell animation, so it's taken for freaking ever. But
do they really need to write a script if he doesn't talk?
There are some words, but yeah, I mean, it's really good storytelling with no real words. If you haven't seen it, man, I'd suggest watching it. It's good.
I have.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
I was gonna say
I've caught bits of it, I should say.
Yeah, it can bring a tear to the eye every once in a while, but it reminds me of like a lot of that old Batsky animation when we were kids and shit that we watched, like Wizards and things like that. So
that formative movie of that my mother just dumped me off to go watch when I was 5 years old. Yeah, that was a great movie.
See, I had a similar story. Only mine was Black Cauldron, but Black Cauldron compared to Wizards is like You know,
Yeah.
it was just dark enough.
It was dark, but it was something that Disney would still put their name on. Oh, which, by the way, I just found out today that Pulp Fiction is technically a Disney movie
Because they bought out
Miramax before the movie was made. So even though Miramax had license to go ahead and do whatever they wanted without the oversight, they were still their parent company was still Disney at the time. So Pulp Fiction is a Disney movie.
That's crazy because, you know, Predator, Aliens, all those are all Disney movies. There are a lot of really good Disney movies out there now, technically. So,
well,
I mean,
no, but you know, this one was made, you know, before Disney really just became the, you know, behemoth that it is now. And two, even in Alien and all that, you don't see a lot of brains, and no one's getting, you know, anally raped in a basement.
Fair enough. I had to make sure which movie you were referring to at first. I was like, that's got to be Pulp Fiction, but yeah.
Yeah, that's Mr. Marcellus Wallace.
Yeah, that is very true. I was just watching a deal on the MacGuffin in that movie, the suitcase, and that
the suitcase,
Marcel's possible soul and stuff. I don't know if you've seen that theory.
I have seen that theory, but basically they just made it the MacGuffin, like in Avatar. The MacGuffin was the special rock.
Yeah, with unobtainium as the name. That just
Now
I don't want to keep Gabe too long. He said he'd jump in for 5 minutes. He's got some stuff to do.
All right, go.
Instagram. That's whatever.
Well, we're about ready to do geekgasms. If you had any good geekgasm this week, you can talk about your watch or whatever. If not, you're good.
Yeah. I mean, really, it'd be buying the Pokemon Go watch. I bought a Pokemon Go Plus watch that'll auto spin the Pokestops and catch Pokemon for me. Just got it today. It's worth it. It's nice.
I found out about it from Frankie because, you know, he did Pokemon Go, and he's every time you're doing something like magic cards or something, he's like, oh yeah, I bought this really expensive rare thing or something. So he had bought one of these, and I was telling Gabe about it, and he's like, no freaking way those exist. And
yeah, I heard it, and I was like, that just sounds like cheating. Found out it was official, and it's like, okay, I got to get one of those.
And it works well?
It works amazing. I literally just got back from trying it out. That was me walking into the house from trying it out to get it into here. And I went down Main Street once, and I caught an entire page of Pokemon from...
Oh, he catches the damn Pokemon for you, too?
Yeah, no. So, more than a page. From here, up.
Back when I was a kid, we had to go out and catch our own damn Pokemon. God.
We threw the ball. We actually had Pokemon. Or it was a fevered heroin dream. I'm not sure which it was.
Yeah, way back in 2016.
Dude, how long have Pokemon been around? They've been around since the 90s, right?
They've been around for a while. Pokemon Go has only been around since 2016, but Pokemon
Pokemon Go, yeah.
I want to say they came out when I was in high school. So
yes,
I don't know.
Mike, we will be talking about TsunamiCon,
Yes.
Don't worry.
We definitely will be hitting on that. I was going to... Oh, and Angela's on here, too. Hey, Angela. I'm working on graphics for you. Hopefully I'll have them done tonight. That was one thing I guess I should say.
Who was Angela?
Angela runs the Topeka Renaissance Festival. And
we had her on.
Yeah, we had her on. Yep.
Okay, hey,
so,
Angela.
We're going up here in a few weeks for International Talk Like a Pirate Day. She also runs the Topeka Pirate Society. And they are putting together a pub crawl for Pirate Day. So the WAGs are going down there, and we're going to, help be entertaining and get drunk with a lot of other pirates and have a good time.
No.
So that's the graphic I'm working on, so we can start inviting more pirates to come and get drunk. Because, we used to do the pub crawls for Great Plains back in the day, and we haven't done them in a while. So they're doing one in Topeka for that fair. Richard's coming down to do it with us, so maybe that'll spark a couple more pub crawls here. However, I know Richard and I both got real tired of them after a while of corralling drunks. When you get somebody else,
that's the thing. It's always more fun to be a part of a pub crawl than to manage a pub crawl.
I know one year when we did the pub crawl and we did the scavenger hunt with it, and on there I did get a friendly picture with the police. That was my downfall because police will play with people dressed as pirates all fucking day. So I started getting, like, while we're doing the podcast or the pub crawl, Christy and I are getting texts and stuff inside the buildings of our friends in the back of cop cars. So then you're like, motherfucker, and you're running out there and everybody's just laughing with the cops. That happened about 8 or 9 times. You weren't running after the third one, but
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Thanks for having me on.
Yep. Thanks, Gabe. We'll
Yeah.
chat
Take
you
it
later.
easy, Gabe.
Talk to you later, Daryl.
Anytime I got video game stuff, I'm just going to talk to that boy because
Oh
he's
yeah.
got it.
I mean, he's got his finger on the pulse.
Oh, yes. Actually, I do want to throw that in. If you want to come throw it in, you can. But because he was telling me about this at lunch.
So on that game I was talking about, Hollow Knight Silksong, it released with no anti-piracy DRM software whatsoever.
Yeah, so we could just trade it back and forth for you.
Yeah, and it only
There's
cost $20.
no DRM.
None whatsoever. And the pirating community came together and was just kind of like, yeah, we'll pay for this one.
Yeah, people
Good.
are willingly paying for it just out of the.
Well,
because
if
it
you
wouldn't
have a
support-
good product that's not overpriced, then that's going to happen.
Yeah, and
That
And a
is
good product
excellent.
by an independent creator that isn't
Yeah.
trying to price gouge you or add a bunch of fucking extra stuff on.
And
Yep.
I guess another detail that's cool about this as well is it's all hand drawn. The entire game is hand drawn by one guy.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep, I
No
told you.
way.
You probably
Not
did.
remembered.
You probably did. I'm trying to retain all that info, and it's like, screw it, just come on.
It's a lot. It's
Yeah.
a cool
Well, it's
game.
It's like that. What was that one video game when we were kids? It was the
Dragon Slayer.
no, the Persian
Journey
one.
Quest. Are you talking about the hand-drawn animation one with cell animation?
Yeah. Well, no, I'm talking about the one that was like some Prince of Persia one. All right, and all of the animation was motion capture off the guy's younger brother, and he was like, okay, now jump over here. So all the thing where the character is pulling itself up or running or all the stuff like that, that's all motion capture from the guy's younger brother doing it for him.
Oh, I did not. Well, the original Mortal Kombat, a lot of that was early motion capture. So, like a lot of that of those guys just standing there doing this shit, that was motion capture. Yeah, I got to interview a bunch of those guys once. Thanks
All
again,
right, take it
Gabe.
easy, Gabe.
Talk to you later. So I should throw in real quick because I know we're going to talk about the AI controversy at DragonCon. We're going to talk about the venue change for TsunamiCon. We were a little thrown back because two major things. One is I am doing a bunch of extra work for conventions this year. So I'm a little far behind. I'm trying to help with TsunamiCon venue stuff a little and trying to get entertainers for a festival in Oklahoma and all sorts of stuff. Well, hold on a sec. Sorry, guys. I'm still on. Sorry. But then as I was getting stuff together for the episode, of course, my brother walks in and says, Charlie Kirk has been shot. We're not doing politics in here, but it was enough to send me down a rabbit hole of watching that and getting into some political discussions. So I didn't get all my stuff lined up.
Are you saying your ADHD kicked in?
A little bit. But the one thing I'll say on the whole subject, which I'm always willing to talk about offline if anybody wants to talk about, but
That's
just
better.
The whole deal is it's just a bad deal, man. When politics gets so bad that people are like, we need to start taking people out. Maybe not taking out the people that are open for discussion. I'm not a fan of some of what he had to say. I'm a fan of some of the stuff he had to say, but just don't let shit get that bad. Public service right there. That's it.
Very good.
So,
Jack says, I love AI. So welcome to the club, brother.
All right.
Matter of fact, let's talk TsunamiCon first and let's get that rolling. All right. So earlier this week, Mike, was it this week?
Yeah, it was just the other day.
Yeah, it was earlier this week. I was driving along and I had someone reach out to me and say, hey, did you hear that TsunamiCon, the venue that they were going to use, has shut down? And I was like, oh, hell no. So I was like, well, let me find out. And from the person that has his finger on the pulse of this crap, which is John. And so I reached out to John here and I was like, dude, what the hell? What's going on? And you replied with,
well, there's a dozen people that have their finger on the pulse a little more than I do, but I had gotten a call from Eric last week. Again, I got a call from Eric last week that because he was definitely keeping track on it. The convention is on top of this.
Mm-hmm.
Not that it's a good thing to have to be on top of. So I'll give them big kudos. They had been watching. They got word. So Temple Live is run by the guy that owns the Scottish Rites Temple there. It's the same group that Honk, since you're on here, that put together the Dead South show we went and watched. So they had a series of concerts lined up. So Eric calls me and says, I'm a bit nervous. The good news is they canceled the concert that's in there that night. So I was like in group chat already, good, we can do Drunkards and Dragons, guys. It's going to be great. And he says, the problem is the guy owns a number of venues across the country, and some of his venues have shut down. Not this one, of course. So they were already starting to look at venue spaces. I told them about one or two that we'd been looking at if we ever needed to move Anime Fest. And unfortunately, those were already booked. And then the next day, I think it was, they got an announcement that the whole thing had shut down. It's doing bankruptcy. And the bad part about, well, it's all bad part. So all the deposit money and stuff they put down, not just them, like there's a woman that had done a $20,000 wedding as well. They didn't get any of their deposits back. I'm sure it's getting claimed in a bankruptcy. So the convention has already put X amount of money into venue space, and then they're turning around and trying to make it work with another venue space. The good news is there's such a big team working on it. Oh, go ahead, Ash. I think
Eric
you froze
should
up.
definitely be a part of the lawsuit against them, because who knows, they might be able to claim in the lawsuit and get the Scottish Rite Center.
Oh, there you go. And then we just got venue space all the damn time.
Well, he will. We'll have to play nice with him. But anyways, go ahead.
I couldn't imagine the Historical Society knocking on your door every time you wanted to paint a wall or move a chair there, but so they've been on it, and there's a big enough group in the group chat for people running the event. There's enough people in there right now. I can't keep up the conversation to where I just texted Eric personally before the podcast, because there are enough people out there looking, doing venue options. So they haven't nailed down a venue. They've got a couple options, trying to keep all the things, like keep it in Wichita, of course, try to keep it as close to the Scottish Rite Temple as possible, because people have already booked hotel rooms and stuff close there. Keeping the same weekend, because all the vendors already have that weekend. People already have their ticket spot. So there's enough options there. It looks like everything's going to move forward. It's just going to be in a different location.
Do we know what the location might be yet?
I don't know if I should say anything. I know they've looked into things, and I've read through. I haven't asked if I could talk about that, because I don't want to get anybody's hopes up.
No.
And, it's probably not my safe or place, I guess.
Yeah, it's not your place to say if it has not been announced yet.
Yeah, and I don't.
So once it is announced, we'll go ahead and share the information as well. But would it be possible for you to let us know what kind of venues they're looking at? Not necessarily which ones, but what kind?
Yeah, I can tell you what kind for sure. They're looking at every kind of venue, can keep options open, because with a convention like this, of course, it's gaming. So they don't have a lot of the restrictions like a Ren Fair or even like a Comic-Con has, because we got to have multiple panel rooms, different things. They do have to have, like the VIG room. They got to have a big room for gaming and possibly the vendors in there. They can segregate those, of course. Let's see. Hang on. Kristen says, I'm just sad we lost the Scottish Rite. I'm just waiting for the announcements. Yeah, I liked the Scottish Rite when we were there before. And I was sad we weren't getting the second floor like we did before. But
yeah, the Scottish Rite's place was, just the layout in there was just phenomenal. And that theater in there, that theater was just perfect for doing something like Drunkards and Dragons or something like that.
Yeah, and they had the Statler and Waldorf little box section up there. I was going to put that right into the Drunkards and Dragons game and stuff. But and there's a Egyptian room in there. I was telling Honk about it when we were which Dead South went and took pictures.
This isn't some kind of Eyes Wide Shut Egyptian room, is it?
It could be.
We don't know.
I found out while we were there, there's an elevator in the back of the room too, behind the pyramid and shit. And there's there's big statues. I mean, it's like a room decorated up Egyptian style. I mean,
that's the thing is, and up until this occurred, I was always under the assumption, and apparently it was an erroneous assumption, that the Shriners owned the Scottish Rite Center.
A number of different owners have owned it over the years, because when we were there last time, a different owner owned it, and I think it has sold twice since then.
Really?
I am uncertain. Maybe just once, but now it'll be twice because they just shut it down. Hey Jess. So yeah, I believe it's sold twice since then. I might be mistaken, but when we were there last time, I think somebody else owned it, but they were still doing Masonic kind of things in there. because when they gave us the tour, they still had all that stuff in there. But the Shriners have another building just kind of across the street that we've done that convention in before. So, but yeah, I'll definitely update anything I know as I know it. Most of those announcements I'll probably let Eric and the staff of TsunamiCon make, but I'll definitely pass the word along. Last time I went to Scottish Rite Temple, I was attacked by vampires and lost a leg. Shut up. That's how it happened. I'll tell that story. Sure I will.
That's a way good story.
I also saw his other one of burgers. I have so many burgers. I wasn't sure what that meant.
Yeah.
Oh, Kristen put, I meant it was Masonic. My grandfather did the Masons and into
the Scottish Rite
Shriners.
Yeah. It's a bum deal, but I am happy that Eric's that his little group that he has for all of the managerial of this is on it and is flexible enough that they were able to pivot and start looking at other options immediately. This didn't just completely knock them on their butts and cancel the whole thing. They're actually being good and working with it and like you said, just pivoting and going with it, finding something else. It speaks volumes for how well that they're doing.
I think I'm pretty confident with some of the options that are out there, they'll be able to find the right venue space. I know they've looked into anything from the Indian Center to other hotels and stuff. I know one of my first ones was Doubletree Inn because it's one that we had looked at doing events in. It's booked that weekend, but there are a couple others that are open. Some of the issues you got to look into is there are venue spaces that are open, but they won't accept you to sell tickets in the manner in which they're selling tickets.
Right.
And the tickets are already sold for this event. So those are little things you have to look at. But heck, I was going to send them even a buddy of mine owns the Big Round Barn out there. My worry is it not being quite big enough. It'd be big enough for vendors and all that, but it wouldn't be, and it would be just out of town enough. I don't like it, but there are definitely in-town options that they're looking at. Sorry, Mike said on the podcast about 3 months ago that it used to be a YMCA and the office area still has the old gym floor. I don't recall it being a YMCA, but it could have been. And Ash, you would laugh, but if I told you how many copyright claims I was hit by because I used AI-generated music in a short film.
It does not surprise me because those copyright bots that they use, they just immediately, as soon as there's anything that even they can remotely say is theirs, they'll immediately just smack out with the cease and desist immediately and expect you to fight against it. But if it was AI, go for it, brother.
John said, I was thinking one place, the WS campus we went to. If you're talking one for esports,
that was the engineering building.
That's actually could work a little bit. They don't have a big open space as much.
No, they just have that foyer.
But they have a hotel now that's right there too. That's right by by that part of campus. They have like I don't remember, it's a Holiday Inn or something that's there now.
Well, and see, one of the problems I'm having, because I know a lot of these venue spaces, like every year, Christy and I would go to City of Wichita puts together a thing where venue spaces just advertise to event managers and stuff. So you walk through and everybody's trying to sell you on moving their event. Places like Cowtown will be there and shit. And there are a bunch of them, but a lot of new ones have come in. And I had a place I was going with that, and my mind totally just farted it out. I can't think now. But the thing I will say about Tsunami, if anybody's got their tickets already or anything, I wouldn't worry. I mean, if things were to go to shit, they're good people. I mean, I would sit here and vouch for them 100%. You're going to be taken care of. But I don't think, just reading what I'm reading in group chat and everything, I think it's going to be just fine. Worst case scenario is some of you that already have hotel room booked, particularly vendors, maybe you might have to look at changing your hotel location. But I think it's going to be all just fine. Yeah, that's it. So I wouldn't worry too much, guys. And really, if nothing else, this is going to open up to where we can do more stuff because we don't have the concerts and stuff to worry about. So just as long as we got basic space, we'll be doing, like, I know you're running games. I know Kaylin's running a game.
Yeah.
Or you're running one. Cookie's running 2. Kaylin's running 2, I think. yeah, we're going to be doing Drunkards and Dragons, which I started getting back to work on. So, yeah, it'll be good. I was going to say maybe Berto's hit on AI is a good transition for us.
Yeah, I was going to tell you about that bolt.new that I was messing around with. It gives you free.
I love you.
I love you.
All right. We didn't even do geekgasms or nothing. Holy crap. Go ahead.
Oh, my geekgasm was helping Jessica this week because
is this safe for work content?
Oh yeah, it is. It is. Nothing was remote controlled. She was not happy with her place of employment, so we went online. We went online Monday night, and we're looking at some different places. So what I basically did is I took her resume and I took the description of the jobs that she was looking at. There was like 2 of them, the only 2 that we've done so far. And so then I just went into AI, said, okay, this is my wife's resume. This is the job she's going for. Tailor it over. And did that for the 2 different jobs and did cover letters for them too. It automatically said, hey, you want cover letters? We'll get to that. And then did all that up. And we sent them out Monday night. Yes. Then yesterday, she got reached back by both of them. So she got hits on both of them with less than 24 hours. And she had a phone interview this morning with one of them, and they want her to do an in-person interview tomorrow. And she also had the other one reached out to her today too on the email, and is going to be, because that one is a remote job, they're going to be doing a phone interview with her tomorrow as well. So within 3 days, for a special, within 3 days, even in this, the way the job situation is out there right now, using AI to tailor it, nothing was made up. We went through line by line and made sure everything was true. We just used it to tailor the resume over, and boom, within 3 days, she's got interviews on 2 different places, and one of them's remote, which is my preference for her. But so that was mine for today, was the fact that using AI to do all that, and it helped a lot, because anymore, getting a hit back on a resume that you put in, most people are running, like 1 in 50 or 1 in 75 resumes sent out before they get a hit back.
I part of me is a little jealous, because she always gets good jobs anyway. She's always done good.
She is very good, and she has a unique skill set.
Yes. And so the idea that, God, you get in this good job market, and then you're in demand too. A little jealous, but proud of her. That's good. This is a bad job market right now. This the jobs report that was released. Yeah, that was released on Friday. This is the first time, since Trump was president last time, that there are more people looking for jobs than there are jobs. The other thing is this, and I'll probably refer to it later, but this is a great example of how AI can be good, because the AI hate out there in the convention community right now is crazy.
Which is something after your geekgasm we'll get into.
So before I do my geekgasm, Mike had said, pardon my ignorance, but what is the Raconteur Society? So here's where I have fucked up. I have referenced these guys 100 times on this podcast, and I've even watched their podcast. I talked to them. Great group of people out of the St. Louis area, kind of. They do a gaming podcast, Geeks Past Their Prime kind of thing, Geeks Past Their Peak. They're all good friends of ours.
They're older than us because we're in our prime. I said, are they older than us? Because we're in our prime. There's
a couple of them that are younger than us. A couple of them are our age. Bobby and Dale that are on staff at Big River. They're on it. Big E that is on staff there, and a lot of people know Big E from Bilge Pumps. He's a fellow pirate performer and stuff. They're all part of it. And I got scolded at Big River because I have been calling it the Raconteur Society for fucking ever. And he looks at me and he goes, the Raconteur Society. And I'm like, or he goes, Raconteur's doing this thing. I'm like, what the fuck's a Raconteur, dude? And he's like, the Raconteur Society, our podcast. And I'm like, holy shit, I've been calling it the wrong thing for a year and a half. So yeah, that's what it is. It's Raconteur. You can look at it. You could see maybe where I got Raconteur. instead, but it's Rockin' Tour. So
I have told you the story before of my Candlestein. And okay, so I'm a big proponent that when people mispronounce words, but they use them correctly, that means that they just learned it from reading. They've never heard it used in real life. And those people should be lauded because they are improving themselves. All right?
we have
I
that
say
problem.
that because I'm covering my ass here.
Comic books is that way forever. Before you had comic book cartoons and stuff a bunch,
Yeah.
everybody called the comic book characters Magneto, all that.
Yeah, exactly. So one day I was driving along with Jessica, and I had said I forget what the conversation was, but I'd used the word Candlestein, and she's like, "What?" Yeah,
So, like,
it
that's the
was
way?
one of those I do not think it means what you think it means kind of thing. She goes, "What? What did you say?" I was like, Candlestein, like sneaky or surreptitious. She said, "You mean clandestine?" And yeah, so for most of my life, I had been using the word Candlestein, and nobody had frickin' corrected me. That's why I married
Yep.
that woman.
That's it. I've corrected you a couple of times. I haven't even got a kiss on the cheek. What the fuck?
Yeah,
So,
that was it. But anyway,
no, I've had that
more
definitely with comic book
geekasm.
characters and stuff too. But my geekasm,
Yes.
it's just gonna be next week's geekasm. It's I collect autographs as well, and I am on this endless search to get all the Ghostbusters and all the Flash Gordons. There's a couple people that either have died or gone on, like especially Flash Gordon, like the airplane pilots. One of them went on to become Boba Fett, so you can't ever get him to sign anything that's not Boba Fett. And just everybody in that movie. The assistant scientist was Porkins off of Star Wars, and then he's passed, so you're never getting his shit. And of course, Timothy Dalton went on to become James Bond. So you can get plenty of James Bond shit signed by him, but getting him to sign Flash Gordon stuff's kind of tough. So this guy that I'd been talking to that had some rare Ghostbuster autographs, I happened to have Timothy Dalton signed autograph from Flash Gordon, the original headpiece, promo piece from the movie. And usually when you find those, they're about $120 a piece. I got it for $20. So,
no.
Yes, plus shipping. And problem is I'm gonna have to pay tariffs on it. But he's giving me
What is
that
it?
and the
15% now?
I don't know what it is. The thing eBay sent me just said it could be anywhere from $5 to $30 or something.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
I haven't had to deal with that yet. I'll just have to pay it when it shows up. But so it'll probably be mine next week because hopefully I'll have it next week in my hot little hands, and it can go next to like my Max von Sydow Flash Gordon signed one, and some of those people have passed that are pretty rare ones. So I'm very happy to get that rare autograph.
Now I can take a couple for you if you want.
That's why I have a hard time buying online. I try just to buy from people that I know are reputable. Because I sit there all the time. I'm like, I can forge an autograph. I could, how many comic books I could just quadruple the value just signing something on it. But
see, and
I
am the exact opposite. If somebody scribbled on something that I liked, to me that would take the value down. I don't understand why the autograph brings the value up. I don't understand that.
Because it's having the signature of the famous person. Like a lot of times, if I can, when I go to comic book cards, if I can get them to do a little sketch on the cover, I'll do that. But I'm also getting to where I've got so many autographs and shit. Like I just get my stuff personalized anymore. I know it makes it worth nothing, but then the only reason I'm buying it is to have it on display. And I'll only usually buy autographs from like something that I really love, like Ghostbusters, Flash Gordon, Scooby-Doo, maybe Muppet shit, and then comic book stuff. I guess is a lot, but it's all part of that collecting bug, I guess. Let me see. Berto says his geekasm. I helped make one Warhammer short film and now have every clan mugging me to edit their stuff into short and for no money. Isn't it great? I do a lot of consultant work for no money too, man. So I get that. That's a matter of fact, the performers I'm sending to that one in Oklahoma, they called trying to hire us, and we couldn't do it. And they were telling us what a pinch they were in. So I'm putting them together an entire performer list because they're a new festival. I want to encourage that.
Yeah.
Jonathan's Geekasm. I basically built a new computer with a RTX 5070 and Ryzen.
Ryzen 7.
I should have you reading this because I don't know half of this. CPU and now Cyberpunk 2077 runs at 300 frames per second.
Now,
Shit.
that's the thing that always confuses me. I mean, I know that the human eye can only, I mean, we achieve motion looking at stuff at 24 frames per second. That's the reason movies for the longest time were 24 frames per second on the film. And then later on, you know, people would bump that up to 30 frames a sec, or for really high quality, you wanted 60 frames a second. What the hell do you need 300 frames a second?
I feel that way. Like,
that's like slow-mo territory.
The cartoons we grew up with, like most of the stuff we watched, you know, when we were kids, DuckTales and shit, that was 3 frames per second. 3.
Really?
And Disney, I think, yeah, Disney did 32 frames per second. So I believe like Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, all that was about 32 frames per second. So the idea of 300 frames per second is fucking batshit crazy. Yeah,
just
it can't just.
You mean that when Quick Draw McGraw was running in midair, it was only 3 frames a second?
Well, no, Quick Draw McGraw was Hanna-Barbera, so that means it was 3 different frames, but the only ones you saw were those 2 little legs. So that was only 2 frames done 3 times every second. So,
pretty much.
Yeah. Hanna-Barbera was bad about that shit, but we all loved. I mean, everybody our generation loved Scooby-Doo and shit, and
oh, come on.
Like
Quick Draw McGraw, El Kabong, all of those.
Thundar the Barbarian.
Thundar. God, yes.
Yeah.
With a moon split in half. Yes, I love Thundar the Barbarian.
Yeah, I can't wait for the live action version. It'll never happen.
Thank
they
God.
Talk about it all the time.
There's some things that do not deserve to be, and that is one of them. Thundar the Barbarian live action. I mean, maybe if somebody made it using just VO3, then yeah, okay. But
you know, I see a lot of little things, and I keep thinking it's going to be like that Thundercats movie we'll never get or anything. My kids will watch it, and I'll go like, "That is a cartoon I watched when I was a kid," and they won't like. By the time it comes out, nobody will even know that was an old property. It'll be kind of like how kids today look, like our generation looked at Howdy Doody or something, you know. But
well,
we do have that
Roberto, you know, since Jessica has left, Roberto has taken the place of my wife, and he is correcting me. He says, incorrect, Ash. The human eye sees at 85 frames per second. 23.94 frames was the slowest they could crank the camera and get smooth video. It was a cost-saving measure at the time. Yes, it was, but it has become so ingrained into us. That's what gives us that cinematic view, and that gives us, you know, when any kind of action was happening, that gave us that action blur that we're used to. And now when, you know, we watch movies that are cranked up to that 85 frames or 60 or 120 frames a second, it looks too sharp. It looks like you're there and you're not separated away from it, like you're having that cinematic experience. That was one of the reasons it was detrimental for me to go see the Hobbit, you know, when they came out with the Hobbit in 3D at 4K at 60 frames a second. I went and watched 3D 4K 60 frames a second, and I did not like it because it did not seem like I was in a movie. It seemed like I was on set while they were shooting the movie, and everything just looked too real. It did not look cinematic. So, neener.
Neener. That's the only way I'll watch porns. Gee.
Yeah, you want the...
I just said before Bruno did. That's all.
Blur. I need that 4K and.
Well, let's hit this topic because I was like, I got 2 things to talk about, and we're an hour in.
What was the other topic?
The AI we were going to talk about this last week.
Yes, the AI at DragonCon.
DragonCon, which happened Labor Day weekend. Many people may have seen just a solitary picture of a sign on a table. It said, artist removed due to AI content. And the internet, at least the convention community, went crazy with it because the community has been very down on AI art of any kind, which is its own controversy. But I wanted to touch on that a little bit. So this artist got removed. And at first, not having context, I went, holy shit, I don't know if that artist was advertising they were doing AI art or not. But that artist, they probably just ruined that artist's career. Now,
totally.
I've then watched all sorts of short documentaries on it already. There are short documentaries already about this subject, about this particular incident. So, which opens a bunch of questions, but I'll kind of go over just basically what happened. There was an artist there at DragonCon that did get removed, not solely for AI art. It got removed for a number of reasons, but AI art was one of them. But that's the one that they put on there. So tons of people without a context, of course, went on and just started bashing this person for using AI art. My personal belief is if AI art can be very handy, and if you're advertising it's that kind of art, you should be able to sell. They're trying to ban it from conventions all over. But I think if you're advertising it that way, because even now we have AI music artists that are out there doing that at conventions. So why not visual artists as well?
Now,
go ahead.
One, my thing was they never showed the AI art.
I've seen it, and it has an AI feel to it for sure, but not more so than a lot of other artists there.
And also, too, because a lot of these different, different programs out there for doing art, Photoshop and all these other things, they are integrating AI into the programs and the workflows. At what point is this theoretical line in the sand going to be drawn where you can say that is AI or that is not AI? I mean, are they going to basically revert it all back down to if we can't see you draw it yourself, then then what?
Kind of. So two answers to that, which I probably should jump back to what happened with the artist, but two things are, one is when they asked the artist to see proof of their work, they showed them, but the thing is now I can't remember which it is. I think I may have asked you about this on the phone. If not, I asked somebody else about it. There's a new program out that I think might be the culprit, but they basically asked AI to do proof of the work. So AI went through and made like proof of the work being made. No hand-drawn stuff, no nothing, but it showed stuff getting deleted, put back on, different things tried. So AI made all this proof so they could show it, but it was all just made by AI.
Yeah.
Which they had to then prove. I'll get to that in a second, sorry. So that was one thing. And then you said the other part is, like, one of the documentaries I watched went into great detail. This one was done by a guy who is a Disney artist. He does art for a lot of the Disney trading card game. And he was pointing out some other artists there that also work for it, and basically how they're using Disney logos when they're not allowed to, and all the different rules behind it. But he says there's no stopping it. There is no stopping the AI art, because like one of the biggest artists there that people were coming after, and he is definitely using AI art. And after the controversy, he took down some of his stuff. However, he claims that he does not. When they put it through the detector, his backgrounds are like 92%, So the backgrounds definitely, but not so much on the foregrounds of these Disney characters he's doing. And what this artist basically says is what a lot of them are doing is they just have AI do the art, and they're coloring everything in their tablets and everything. So they now have the art in the tablet, and they just go through and paint right over it. And they go through and do basically you're tracing and looking at the color palette that's there. You can even steal colors off the old color palette, put it on. So they're taking the time to redraw the picture that AI has already done. And then they're usually just blurring the backgrounds and stuff to make it a little less noticeable. And this has become not going to be commonplace. This is already commonplace in a lot of conventions. So there's no stopping at this point. But the problem is you have a lot of artists there. A lot of them are my friends. I get it. That are going, well, if that AI art's selling and they're not buying my stuff, then that's not fair. There's the argument of, well, you could be a better artist, but it is hard to keep up with something that can sample all the fucking art in the world.
Well, that and one thing that rolled out, I think it was last week, and I was bringing it up to you, and I don't know if you had a chance to look at it yet. There is a new image generator that that Google put out. You can access it. Anybody can access it through Gemini 2.5. All right, it's their new image generator. It's called Nano Banana. All right.
Okay.
And Nano Banana, their new image generator, is so bloody good that people, I mean, the scuttlebutt out there is that it is a Photoshop killer because of how good it is and the fact that it has continuity as you are doing edits and stuff like that when you tell it, because in the past, when it's generated an image and I've been like, remove, the Frankenstein in the front, but, keep whatever on the side. It's like it generated a whole new image and it was completely different looking. Now there's continuity in it and the placement of things is so much better and the letters are good and all the stuff like that. So people are calling it an AI. I mean, calling it a Photoshop killer. So there are things like that are now rolling out. So, I mean, a lot of these organizations that are trying to put barriers in front, they are really going to have to get ahead of the ball on this because they're getting left behind quickly.
Well, and the thing is, how do I want to say this? Because anything I say, you're putting your foot in your mouth, especially working in convention industry.
Oh yeah,
because it's one of those things. It's an unpopular opinion to go AI art can be great for the industry.
Yeah,
but it's the first thing that would get me fucking blackballed from something too. It's got to be, how do I want to say, it's got to be corralled for sure. But you also got to think, like, there's a lot of conventions out there that people are like, oh, you used AI art on whatever, your pamphlet, your program, some online advertisement, whatever. And people will get fucking mad left and right. Some of these conventions can't afford, like they were using clip art last year, they can't afford to hire an artist. And everybody's mad because that means you're not hiring an artist. It's like, well, that convention wouldn't hire an artist anyway. However, if they can start doing better now and get to a point maybe where they can support artists, it's not all bad to use some AI art to promote something. And I get the more you use it, the more it will be used. But I think we're way beyond that bubble at this point. The problem is every convention now is going to have to put stuff in their contracts and they're going to have to really jury their vendors for sure. This person that got kicked out in DragonCon, one of the main reasons they got kicked out is, one, is they were an artist alley, and to be there, the artist has to be there in order for you to have a booth. DragonCon's a big event that people are lining up to get into. Yep. So the artist was not at that booth. Her boyfriend was there running it. So not only that, the art was a number of collective pieces that apparently the boyfriend worked on, the artist worked on, her parents worked on. So not all the art was even done by the artist. And then also the art she sent in to get juried in, none of it was the same art or even necessarily the same style as what was being sold. So it sounds like this artist probably had another place to be and said, I can make a bunch of prints and shit to send and have him sell and still make money. Well, so the artist, drag him under a bus. They fucked up.
Did she need to be that was better than DragonCon? I mean, what was her sister getting married? What?
I don't know. I don't know that, but the problem is everybody is just looking at it and saying, oh, it's because of AI art. No, it was because a whole bunch of shit. But AI art was part of it. And that's what everybody is jumping on. And then that now has focused it. Now that DragonCon is down on AI art, now they're coming after any artist that anybody thinks may be. So a lot of these artists struggling, but they're all getting fingers pointed at them. And so people like Brad Voth that we've had on here before, that's a great example. An artist that is out there doing their bit. That style artist and that level artists are the kind of people that are getting their fingers pointed at and going, oh, well, then we can't let you in if you can't prove all your work and shit. And a lot of them don't always keep proof of all their work. But they're going to have to now. I mean,
you are a prime example of that. You are an artist, all right? Not just a performative artist. You also draw and stuff like that. And I'm sorry, but you, like most artists, are a scatterbrain fuck. And there's no way that you're keeping all of the documentation necessary. I mean, the people that I have been associated with who are by far the most creative are also the ones that are least likely to have the documentation that's requested.
So here's my question to everybody listening on the AI, and yours as well, Ash. We've got a number of friends that some are 3D printers, some are sculptors, some are visual artists, pen and paper, all that.
3D printers, I would never do that.
Well, so A good example is Big River. We were there where there was probably half a dozen 3D printer booths there. Almost every con we go to, there's a number of them. Most of those people aren't writing their own files. They're not painting it. They're not lighting them up like you with the decals and the lighting it up and customizing, me painting and customizing. They're not doing that. They print it, put it on the shelf, done.
Mm-hmm.
They are literally doing someone else's work and saying, look, I made this. How is that different than some of this AI art? And again, like with some of our friends are sculptors that use molds and stuff. How is that different than AI art? Because they're using a mold as their base template. Now, I'm not bashing any of that. Those are all tricks of the trade.
Mm-hmm.
However, it's okay for these other genres, but it's not okay for that particular genre, even when somebody uses it in a good and positive way to progress their art.
And I would also like to put, like, at times when I have gone in, to some of because on a lot of these imaging programs, you go like into Whisk or something like that, there's, a whole section of it is where people are showing, hey, this is a cool thing that I made. So you can see the images they made, but it will also include the prompt that they used. All right. So you can see how the person was able to generate the image. And by far, the best ones sound like they were written by Roberto. All right. Because it's not just someone saying, a female sitting in a chair, all right, stuff like that. It is down to, okay, I want it to look like it was shot on this film. I want it to look like it was shot with this camera, using this lens, with this aperture. I mean, it is somebody who actually knows what they want and how they would normally have produced it in real life. And then that generates the image. And those are by far the best ones, sound like Roberto did.
Yeah, but they might not have the money or the staff to create shit like that. And this AI allows them to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
So to me, it's a win-win. Now, will it be abused? Yeah, everything's going to be abused. But the more we just point fingers and go, it's bad, it's bad, it's bad. What'd you say? Sorry?
I said everything but me.
When people just say it's bad, it's bad, it's bad, all you're going to do is keep honest people going, well, I guess I shouldn't do that. Everybody else is still going to do it. So it just needs regulations on it, specifically in the convention industry. Jonathan had put up, not to be devil's advocate, but isn't AI art the current version of like when music producers using samples of other musicians to make new music, like Vanilla Ice stealing Under Pressure from Queen and so on? I'd say, yeah, but just like that, you had to steal so much of the song in order, you got to sample more than a beat sometimes, or more than 15 seconds of it, or that kind of shit to make it. So those stipulations need to be put out there now.
When I was a lad back in the 80s and early 90s, my favorite rap group was one of the ones that pioneered sampling and was one of the...
You had a favorite? You listen to enough rap, you had to have a favorite one?
Back then, I liked De La Soul. And De La Soul was my favorite. And they're the first ones that got taken basically to court over sampling beats. And that's all it was just a beat pattern. And someone said, no, that's my beat pattern. We're going toe to toe on this. And it's the same thing. Well, actually it's not, but yeah, it's the same kind of thing where at first it is completely frowned upon by the community, but eventually, either it's going to be completely, gone away. Like, okay, Milli Vanilli.
Yeah.
All right, Milli Vanilli, they got found out that they were lip syncing and they were completely drummed out. All right. And
somebody else wrote their music, performed their music, all that. Right.
Yeah. But now there's whole genres of entertainment out there where you can watch your stars lip sync and do all the stuff like that. So now lip sync is coming around. And
Milli Vanilli is a great example for what I'm saying, though. Let's say Milli Vanilli, when they came out, instead of saying, we're singing this music, they went, hey, those two dudes over there are singing this music. We're professional dancers. We're going to lip sync and perform for you guys. That's our gimmick. Now, granted, they probably wouldn't have went anywhere with that. But if they had come out and said that and then got big, would it be okay then? If they had said it first?
Well, see, that's the thing. I'm with you as long as they say it first, as long as there is no duplicity involved. but so then the question comes up, all right, with this, like the Disney artist, where you said certain amount of the background was AI generated, but the main characters in front were not AI generated. All right. So is there going to be some arbitrary line they're going to draw where they say, okay, 38% of your imagery can be, AI, 64% if it is background, 18% if it is a primary focal point. I mean, are they going to come down to that level of that granular level?
Right now they have detectors that can, I don't know how it works, but that can detect the percentage of AI art in there.
That's an arms race. That's an arms race of detector versus duplicity. It's an arms race of viruses versus antiviruses.
I mean, they're only going to
catch what they can.
Yeah. And all that's going to, like, this conversation will change by next year because AI will have changed by next year.
Yeah, however, we'll be looking better.
Yeah.
We'll have AI make us all look better. We
won't even be doing a podcast. We'll have 2 entertaining AI guys on here doing it. But
it's getting really close to that.
Yeah. But no, it generally, I think, if you're going to be an AI artist selling at a convention, you should simply have to put up that you are selling AI art. And if you're not, if you're claiming it as your own and come to find out it's AI, sure, get kicked out. I'm all on board with that. And then the other controversy behind that is, to me, is conventions or festivals using AI art for any promotional material. It bothers me that so many other places can use it. However, conventions and festivals can't. Like the tire place down the street can use it, and some people will bitch, but they don't directly work with artists, so they're not getting the feedback at conventions and festivals.
If you're making your bread and butter on the promotion of artist and art, utilizing something, once you get big enough, that you can actually afford to pay an artist to make something. All right. If you are, if you're cutting, all your checks are basically on the back of these artists, but you're not going to use one of these artists to create your imagery, I can see the problem there. But, Bob's Hair Care and Tire Emporium couldn't give a shit less.
Berto says current detectors just give you a percentage likelihood that something is AI. Yeah, that's kind of what I was talking about, and that's what DragonCon was using.
But
sounds like
that leads to a new question. As AI art becomes more prevalent and people start drawing more that way, does AI art detectors start giving you false positives?
Well, and if you're doing the thing like where I print out an AI picture and then just trace over it and paint it, I mean, is it going to detect any of that? Because I'm still using AI to create my artwork. You just don't know about it.
Yeah, if you just put that as a layer underneath and then you just start tracing over the top of it and then delete that layer, I'm sure there's a way that you can go in and remove that layer was ever in there in the history. So
I feel like in the community, if they allowed AI artists in, but they said they had to post that they're AI artists, people would learn real quick nobody's wanting to buy that AI art. So then people would see that this is not a place for us to go do that. You would see it for about 2-3 years, and then it would just go the fuck away. But if they keep doing shit like this, it's just going to create more controversy, and everybody's just going to find ways to hide it. Instead of how can I use it, they're going to just find ways to hide it. I genuinely think that some people, and unfortunately, it's going to be somebody like DragonCon or San Diego stepping in and going, this is our policy. Somebody that all the smaller cons can look to and go, well, thank God. Because us smaller cons, if we start implementing that, everybody's just going to come after us too and tell us how we're wrong on it. You need some big wig that's too big to fail to set up some policies, some standard contract, something like that.
Personally, as if in my con that I have, if I were to have a con, I'd just make an AI art row. All right, you got AI art, you go on that row. All right, and guess what? You pay a little bit more for the privilege of doing it. Go away.
Immediately, people would go, "You're supporting that. You're a horrible person. We're going to boycott you." Okay. And that's where we are. But yeah, I know. That's kind of how I'm feeling with some of it, but it's not fair across the board. If you're going to be that way, we got to be that way to 3D printer people, everybody.
I know. And 3D printer people, like I told you, like that one flea market thing that I went to, all right? There was that lady there. She had a 3D printed stuff, but what I loved about her is that she was prominently displaying her thing that said that she had a paid merchant license to 3D print that stuff. All right.
Yes.
She was
every
yeah.
printer artist should have that. Say again?
That's my thought as well. I think she is leading the charge, and everybody should emulate what she was doing of prominently displaying, I paid for the merchant license. It is okay for me to print this stuff.
I know you and I have done it. I know Frankie and I have done it when we're at conventions and we walk around because, like we're 3D printers and you're interested in learning more. And most of them know more than I do. So I love going and talking to them. And you'll sit there and you'll find out a lot of them aren't paying shit.
Yeah.
Some of them will say they are, but you can kind of tell in talking to them because you'll be like, that file's all over Thingiverse and everything else.
Yeah. I
and
can see it all over Thingiverse. Or one of the booths at ICT Comic-Con, it was the first time I ever saw a huge selection of hue forges. All right. Those things where, they had a whole ton of popular imagery, whatever it is, hue forge prints that you could go through, like the old school posters and stuff like that, and pick out which prints that you like.
Comics,
yeah. And so now the hue forges are starting to fall in that. And I know out there are hundreds of thousands of hue forge images out there that people have created and put out there that, that vendors like that are just going through and cherry picking what they want and not paying the actual artist a bloody thing, which also leads to the fact that I know that one, they didn't pay the artist anything for it. And two, I know the artist, because they were just making it for fun, sure as crap did not get any rights to the imagery before they made it because they were just doing it for personal fun. So, I mean, that's a double layer. Are the conventions, making sure that everybody has the actual rights to sell the paraphernalia that they're selling?
There's no way to keep up with it. And the sad thing is, because we went through this, 20 years ago in conventions, like when I was vending leather, for example. When I was vending leather, I couldn't slap a Superman logo or fucking anything like that on something. We had tricks getting around it sometimes. I would make something for a custom order that never sold. Then you're allowed to sell it. Yeah.
Did you say, no, this isn't S for Superman. This means hope.
Yes. Yeah. That was back before that fucking, yeah. But yeah, so it's hard to, because really for the most part, let's say I'm doing that back in the day. Now we have what's called fan art, which has changed the industry completely. But back in the day, the worst they could do is go, oh, well, we're going to send you a cease and desist. And you go, well, then I guess I'll cease and desist. And that's it. You're done. It's not like you get in any trouble. So even now, let's say those huge forge artists aren't paying their shit. About the best they're going to get is a cease and desist, which just means they're not going to sell those next time. And really, if they do, chances are they're going to get a second cease and desist before any kind of fucking what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah. Well, before they can prove any kind of damage, financial damage. Yeah. So yeah, for conventions, there's no good way to monitor that.
Well, see,
however,
I know that, like, okay, in the Star Trek fan club, the International Starfleet Star Trek fan club, the new edict has come down that if you're having, just like we do, where it's a Star Trek table at a con, all right, you're not selling anything. It's just yay Star Trek, all right.
Yeah.
You cannot be showing anything off of Paramount Plus on there because they have had people go into the different cons, walk around, see that that's going on, and then be serving people with cease and desist just off of displaying stuff off of Paramount. I pay for my Paramount Plus, but I can't display it on the table.
Back in the day, we were doing WAGs and stuff, but this before cosplay became a household word or anything. One problem a lot of the festivals had around here is they'd reach out to us geeks to go, hey, I want Batman or Spider-Man at my fucking bounce house festival or whatever, right? And problem is they could never advertise that Spider-Man or Batman was there back in those days. What you could do is go, oh, I have this cosplayer called Spidey 101,
Yeah.
who's going to be cosplaying as Spidey 101, and then
Yeah,
you put a picture of them in their Spider-Man outfit. You could get away with that sometimes.
we don't have Batman. We have Batmanuel.
Batmanuel, although that's a copyrighted character
That
kicks
is
ass.
now. Thank you, the tick.
Yeah. Let's see. Berto's going to know about copyright shit, I'm sure. I got cases and cease and desist from Mattel of the prices for using the Thomas the Tank Engine theme in a commercial for Wizards Asylum.
Yep.
We were scared to death back in the day when we first wrote that Star Wars
Bar
show,
Wars.
because
Yeah.
Bar Wars, because back then Lucas would come after you. I mean, he was coming after people hard. A lot of people probably know Mark Gunn that runs the Ren Fair Awards and stuff online. We used to perform with him, and they had a Yoda drinking song, and we'd always bring our Yoda puppet over and dance with them when they were doing that. We recorded a couple of times. They're like, please do not put that online, because they had already gotten one cease and desist from Lucas. Now that's all changed, and all like that's on CDs and shit now, and we can do our show all day long and get paid for it, and it's legal. But that's mainly because of the way Lucas did stuff, and then he kept it in there for when Disney bought it. But back in the day, man, we couldn't do any kind of copyright. Like I couldn't even make a reference to Superman or Lord forbid the NFL or something.
Oh God,
You'll
yeah.
get,
If you said anything Super Bowl, you were dead.
yes, even the word Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they still have problems with some of that. Like you got to say the big game and bullshit.
Yeah.
But yeah, so artists have had to deal with that. Fan art has really opened that shit up to where now I can just draw a picture of Pikachu screwing Superman in a orgy or something, and it'd be just fine, and nobody can
Rule
really do
34.
much about it. Yeah, they could send you stuff, but
Okay.
there's a lot you can get away with.
All right. You said you had two things. One was the AI stuff. What was the other thing you wanted to bring up? I'm asking because we're coming up on an hour and a half.
No, that was the last thing was AI. The other thing I already took care of, which was
TsunamiCon.
I want to talk about TsunamiCon because
All right, good.
I didn't want anybody panicking or spreading rumors and I sure hope I didn't spread any rumors. I don't think I did. I just want everybody to know that's going good, and
good.
they're on top of it. It's not like people are
not necessarily going good, going as good as it can.
Right. It's an unfortunate situation, which hell, we were in this year, just not that close. We almost had to change venues for the Anime Fest this year. It happens, and it sucks. Our first year of hell, you were there running Emerald City with me that first year. We had the hotel booked. We were already selling tickets, and then the hotel went, oh, hey, we forgot to tell you we got a wedding on Sunday. So one whole day of the con, we had to pick it up, move the whole thing to Cowtown while tickets were already sold, vendors were already sold, all that shit. That stuff happens, and it's usually the venue's fault. So nobody hold it over TsunamiCon because they've been on top of it before it was a thing. So
and they've done nothing but good on this.
Yeah.
All right, sir. Well, we're coming up on an hour and a half. I need to go check with my wife. She was out doing the local high school, Wichita East. They have their annual big do where all the different clubs, athletics, and all the stuff like that. They, for like an hour and a half on the lawn, they have booths and stuff like that, and they sell paraphernalia and whatnot in order to make money for the different clubs. And Jessica, when finding out that there was none for the cross country and track that Gannon does, of course, that led her to pick up the banner and run with it because my wife. And so I made a whole bunch of special Wichita East keychains and Wichita flag keychains and refrigerator magnets, and Jessica was out there selling. That's the reason when she came in, she looked all flush because her and the son do not get along. It's that Irish heritage. But so I got to go check to see how well it went. She told me that they were selling pretty good, but I want to go check to see how everything went.
Okay. The last thing I'll say, because you called me and reminded me, last week was our Burrow show. And I was so exhausted from Big River, and it was just such a hectic thing. We kind of skipped it. So I believe the plan is just first Wednesday of next month, we're going to be back there again.
Of October, yeah.
Of October. So
Yeah.
the plan is be right back there. We just missed it this month because it's festival season.
You reach out to the burros on it. Sometimes when I'm talking to them, the
I got
look on their face when they're talking to me is like, shit, it walks upright. So you get along better with them than I do.
Jonathan, can you guys cover 3D printers recommendations for starters, costs for a show? We could
All
easily
right,
do
my
that.
3D printer recommendation that I am all for right now. Matter of fact, I will pan over to it.
Yeah, I'm going to show this to my son-in-law too because I was just telling him about this one.
This one right here, the Elegoo Centauri Carbon. That is an enclosed one that basically prints as good as, well, back to me. Hold on, podcast. There we go. Basically, it prints as good as a Bamboo Labs X1 Carbon, but at $900 cheaper in price. It only does a single color, but I've found that using color changing, it's kind of hokey. If you look at John's prints, the stuff that he, the sculptures and stuff that he does, the beauty in them is in the hand painting. It's not in the color swaps. So that's the whole thing, print them off, do it one color, and then do the painting. That's the best route. Although, that being said, the Elegoo, they are supposed to be coming out with a 4-color AMS system for this at the end of September, I think, is when they're going to be coming out with that. But
so
that's
basically, you'll be able to upgrade this one. You'll be able to upgrade this one from 1 color to 4 colors.
If
so you
I
don't
wish
have to buy
to.
another machine. It's just an upgrade.
Just get the AMS, put it on there. It's already got the jacks, the connection points on the back, just to plug it straight in. But yeah, this one, $300. It is so good that a lot of people out there, when I was watching reviews, a lot of people who have their own print farms were saying, as my Bamboo X1s are dying, I will be replacing it with this. The only detractor for it is if all the fans are running, it's loud. All right, it is a loud printer, but if you're just running PLA, it doesn't really need that many fans running, so it's relatively quieter.
So yeah, that's the printer I'm planning on buying too, John. I'm recommending it to my son-in-law as well.
Yeah, it is. It's really good. I mean, the quality of prints I'm getting are just phenomenal out of it. The speed is up there compared to my Anycubic. It is almost 30-40% faster, and plus it's a Core XY, so it's not a bed slinger. So as you're building taller things, that as the bed's going back and forth, it's not moving it all over the place. So it is pretty much build volume standard 256, 256, 256. But that's
I'm gonna have to
go ahead,
get going. My wife has brought in all of supper now, and I've got family sitting there just.
All right, I'm gonna go, guys, too. All right, everybody, love you. See you. Bye.
See you guys.
And we